Just moments ago, Jake Anderson made a brief statement that's left fans buzzing with questions. As rumors about his past struggles and health continue to swirl, many are wondering if he's really doing okay. Are the whispers of a relapse true, or is there more to the story than meets the eye? Jake's cryptic message has sparked both concern and curiosity among his followers. Let's take a closer look at what could be fueling these rumors and uncover what's really happening behind the scenes with Jake Anderson. Before the Deadliest Catch fame. Jake Anderson's journey to the top of the crab fishing world wasn't paved with ease. Born on September 16, 1980, Jake didn't grow up surrounded by wealth or privilege, but his determination was unmatched. From humble beginnings, he worked tirelessly to become a seasoned fishing captain and part owner of the Titan Explorer. Prior to that, Jake captained and co-owned the FV Saga, a significant step in his career. But for most people, Jake is best known for his time on Deadliest Catch, the Discovery Channel hit that brought the dangerous world of crab fishing into living rooms across the world. Since joining the show in 2007, Jake's journey from a rookie greenhorn to a respected leader at sea has been captivating for fans. His story is one of perseverance, grit, and a willingness to tackle any challenge that came his way. Jake's fishing career began when he joined the FV Northwestern as a greenhorn under Captain Sig Hansen. This was no small feat, stepping into the dangerous waters of the Bering Sea for the first time. His debut on Deadliest Catch aired in the episode titled New Beginnings on May 15, 2007, an episode title that perfectly reflected his journey. The road to success wasn't easy, but Jake's hard work began to pay off. By 2012, he had earned a major promotion to deck boss aboard the Northwestern, one of the most coveted positions on the boat. That same year, Jake also earned two important licenses: the United States Coast Guard Mate 1,600-ton license and the Master 100-ton Captain's license, both of which were critical for advancing his career in the world of commercial fishing. By 2015, Jake took his most significant step yet. He became the captain of the FV Saga. This marked a pivotal moment in his career and life, as he officially took the reins of his own boat, ready to chart his own course. This was the true beginning of a new chapter for Jake on the water. Jake Anderson's struggles and comeback, losing the Saga and redemption. Jake Anderson's journey on Deadliest Catch has always been filled with emotional highs and devastating lows. Known for his perseverance, leadership, and connection with viewers, Jake's story took an unexpected turn in 2023. The boat he had worked so hard to captain and build, the FV Saga, was suddenly up for sale. Jake's dreams, the ones he fought for years to achieve, were threatened by legal troubles that had nothing to do with his own actions. For many fans, the shocking news of the Saga's repossession was a reminder of just how unpredictable life at sea can be. Jake's hard-earned success was undone by the actions of others, and just like that, the boat he had poured his heart and soul into was no longer his. The loss of the Saga wasn't just a business setback, it was a blow to Jake's identity and his place in the world of commercial fishing. For someone who had worked so hard to build a career, this was devastating. Jake's path had started on the FV Northwestern as a greenhorn under Captain Sig Hansen. His rise through the ranks of Deadliest Catch was a testament to his skills and determination. From being a deckhand to eventually owning his own boat, the Saga, Jake had achieved what many considered the American dream. But the journey took a difficult turn when his business partner's legal troubles resulted in the repossession of the Saga just before the highly anticipated Red King crab fishing season. It was like being lost at sea, Jake said, recalling the moment he found out his boat was no longer his. I thought everything was set, and then, just like that, it was all gone. He had worked with his partner to make the Saga a success, but it all unraveled quickly due to financial and legal issues. The weight of losing the boat hit Jake hard, but it was not the end of his story. Instead of fading into the background, Jake reached out to someone who had been there for him since the beginning, Captain Sig Hansen. Sig, the mentor who had seen Jake grow from a rookie greenhorn to a deck boss, welcomed him back to the FV Northwestern. Returning to the boat where it all started was both a humbling and necessary step. For Jake, it was not just about going back to his roots. It was a chance to rebuild and reset his career. Sig's support meant more than I can explain, Jake said. We've been through a lot together, and I wouldn't have made it through this without him. The camaraderie we share is special. As fishermen, we have each other's backs, no matter what. However, Jake knew that he couldn't stay on the Northwestern forever. After a brief stint back on his old boat, Jake made the decision to join a new crew and a new boat, the Titan Explorer. This shift wasn't easy. It wasn't just about a new boat, it was about proving himself all over again. On the Titan Explorer, Jake was no longer the captain or part owner. He was the new guy, with a lot to prove. For someone who had been in charge for so long, this was a humbling experience. But Jake embraced the challenge. He knew that in the world of commercial crabbing, nothing was ever guaranteed, and he had to earn the trust of his new crew. He understood that his position was not entitled, and if he wanted to stay in the game, he had to work hard, just like everyone else. The pressure was on. Season 20 of Deadliest Catch brought new challenges, including a medical emergency involving Captain Keith Colburn and a serious accident on the Titan Explorer when deckhand Chino was struck by a crab pot. In that critical moment, Jake was once again put to the test. As Chino lay on the deck, unable to move, Jake acted swiftly, ensuring the crew took the necessary steps to get him the medical attention he needed. Thankfully, Chino recovered, but the experience was a stark reminder of the dangers they faced daily. Jake's resilience was put to the ultimate test in Season 20. But he didn't let setbacks or personal tragedies define him. The season was filled with obstacles, weather challenges, injuries, and emotional pain. Along with the professional challenges came personal loss. Jake had already dealt with the death of his sister, and in Season 20, he learned that his close friend and former crew member Tom Brossard had passed away unexpectedly. The grief was overwhelming, but Jake continued to push forward, for his crew, for his family, and for his own healing. Despite the emotional and physical toll, Jake and his crew on the Titan Explorer managed to hit their quota, proving that even in the toughest times, they could still succeed. By the end of the season, Jake's determination and leadership shone through, and fans watched him achieve a hard-fought comeback. The journey was not easy, but Jake Anderson showed that he was far from finished. The loss of the Saga, the challenges of Season 20, and the emotional roller coaster of personal and professional setbacks all culminated in a season of redemption for Jake. He learned that even in the most difficult circumstances, there was a code of honor among fishermen, a camaraderie that could pull people together when everything seemed lost. Losing the Saga didn't just cost him a boat, it humbled him and reminded him of what truly matters: the people who stand by your side, the work you do, and the legacy you leave behind. As Deadliest Catch continues to unfold, Jake Anderson remains a symbol of resilience, hard work, and unwavering determination. He faced the loss of everything he had worked for, but he didn't give up. He is still in the fight, and with every wave that crashes, Jake proves that the greatest challenge is not the sea. It's overcoming the storms in life that test your spirit. The many tragedies of Jake Anderson's life. Beneath the success and the fame, Jake Anderson was battling something much more personal, a struggle he carried in silence for years. The story of his journey, full of highs and lows, was hidden behind the cameras, until one day, Jake reached out for help. It was a shocking revelation for his fans, but it made them realize something powerful. Everyone has their battles. With the support he received, Jake found the strength to overcome the addiction that had once held him captive, fighting off alcoholism and substance abuse that nearly tore his life apart. Before his rise on Deadliest Catch, Jake had dreams that were far different. He wasn't thinking about the sea. His aspirations were to become a professional skateboarder. But everything changed in 1999 when a major injury crushed his dreams. pushing him into a spiral that was hard to escape. "I kind of gave up on everything," Jake confessed later in an interview. That moment marked the beginning of a long, dark path. In his early 20s, Jake fell deep into addiction. Prescription painkillers became his escape, and soon, methamphetamines and Adderall followed, thinking they would help him focus. Instead, they only worsened his problems, taking away his stability, his friendships, and ultimately, his home. For 2 years, Jake wandered the streets of Anacortes, Washington, unable to find his way out. "There was nowhere to go," he recalled. "I can't express the humiliation, watching myself walk up and down the streets." It was a lonely, painful chapter in his life. But after his 24th birthday, something changed. Jake left Anacortes behind and moved to Alaska, hoping to start fresh. It wasn't an easy road to recovery. He relapsed, but over time, he joined a formal recovery program and finally got clean. By 2010, Jake was sober and on a path to rebuilding his life. Though Jake found sobriety, his struggles didn't end. Deadliest Catch brought a new set of challenges, and the show opened up Jake's life to viewers in ways he hadn't anticipated. In Season 5, tragedy struck again when Jake received a call at sea about his sister, Chelsea. She had been rushed to the hospital and soon passed away from complications related to pneumonia. Chelsea had dealt with health issues her entire life: juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, seizures, and later schizophrenia. On the day she died, she had refused to go to the doctor. "She died 20 minutes later while my mom was in the waiting room," Jake wrote. Chelsea was just 37 years old, and her loss left a wound in Jake's heart that would never fully heal. But the heartbreak didn't stop there. In 2010, Jake's father, Keith Anderson, went missing after leaving his home to meet a friend. Keith, who had been struggling with depression, was never seen again. Weeks passed with no sign of him, until finally, over 2 years later, Jake was informed that skeletal remains had been found near his father's truck. The confirmation was devastating. Jake had been holding on to hope for years, but the discovery was a bitter closure. Keith Anderson was 62 when he passed, and though the family finally got closure, the pain lingered. Jake's connection to Deadliest Catch deepened because of the people he met along the way. One of the most significant influences on his early career was his uncle, Nick Mavar. Nick was a veteran deckhand on the FV Northwestern, and one of the original faces that fans grew to love. Nick was more than just a mentor. He was a father figure, a steady hand who helped guide Jake through the chaos of life at sea. But in yet another painful chapter, Nick Mavar passed away in 2024 after battling health issues. The cause was a sudden heart attack while Nick was working on a dock in Alaska. He was only 59 years old, and his death sent another shockwave through Jake's life. Measure of the Man was the poem Jake posted in tribute to his uncle. The loss of Nick was yet another in a series of tragedies that had shaped Jake's life. Jake's struggles didn't stop with family loss. After taking charge of the FV Saga, he brought in Tom Brossard, a trusted friend and right-hand man, to help run the boat. Tom had been working with Jake for years, and together they rebuilt the Saga. But tragedy struck once again in 2024 when Jake got a phone call that no one could prepare for. Tom had passed away from a heart attack. Tom was 64, and his death left Jake devastated. They had been in constant contact, and losing his friend and partner in such a sudden way was a blow Jake couldn't have anticipated. The grief was overwhelming, and Jake's emotional journey was about to take another hard turn. In just 5 years, Jake had lost so many important people: his sister, his father, and now his closest friend. The grief was suffocating, and the weight of loss became harder to bear. Yet through it all, Jake kept moving forward. "I'm a religious guy," Jake said. "I believe in God, and that's always helped me get through. I keep following my heart and know that everything that happens is for a reason." It was this newfound faith and strength that helped him continue to fight and push through the tough times. Despite the personal tragedies, Jake found his way back to the FV Saga and appeared in every episode of Deadliest Catch. His return to the show came with a new sense of purpose. He had something to prove, not only to the fans, but also to himself. His skills and leadership were still unmatched, and the challenges he faced on the sea were only made more meaningful by the life lessons he had learned through his losses. However, Jake's personal life would never be the same. His relationships, his mental health, and his outlook on life had all been profoundly shaped by the tragedies he had faced. And just when it seemed like Jake might have found a sense of peace, life threw more obstacles his way. Critics and fans alike began to see a different side to Jake, one that wasn't always clear on the surface. There were whispers and doubts about him, about his past, about what he was hiding. It wasn't clear what exactly people were questioning, but their suspicions started to grow. Jake had always kept a part of his life private, but now, with the public eye on him more than ever, the pressure to reveal everything was mounting. As secrets began to unravel and the tension between Jake and his past grew, fans were left questioning whether the man they admired on screen was as genuine as they thought. This revelation broke the silence that had surrounded Jake Anderson's life for years, and when the truth finally came out, it left fans reeling. With the truth now laid bare, the impact of those revelations was undeniable. Jake's reputation, the trust he had built over the years, all seemed to crumble under the weight of the truth. The facade was shattered, and the reality was harsh. How would Jake recover from this blow? Would he be able to rebuild everything he had lost? His pride, his reputation, his life? Time would tell, but one thing was for sure. Jake Anderson's story was far from over. The final chapter had not yet been written. What did they really find out? For years, Jake Anderson's fans had watched him evolve on Deadliest Catch, but as time passed, something seemed to change in him. His face, once so familiar, appeared different. The lively energy he was known for seemed to fade. Rumors began to circulate online, with people noticing subtle signs of decline. Some fans speculated that his health was deteriorating, a consequence of the trauma from losing loved ones. Others, however, were unconvinced and wondered if there was more to the story than just grief. As the whispers grew louder, so did the suspicions. Some fans pointed fingers, claiming that Jake had returned to old habits. They accused him of secretly using substances again, despite his past claims of sobriety. The rumors intensified, with people saying, "No wonder he hasn't been his best lately." The speculation spread so far that one fan even went as far as to describe Jake as looking like a cheap restaurant owner, wearing fake jewelry, smelling of cigarettes and too much bad cologne. An image that painted a much darker picture of the reality star than his fans were used to seeing. Despite the flood of accusations, Jake never publicly addressed the rumors. For many, this silence only fueled the fire. Some felt that Jake was too ashamed to face the reality of his struggles, or was too afraid to confront the fans who might have lost trust in him. The talk on social media continued to swirl, with people dividing into two camps: those who believed Jake's claims of being sober, and those who thought he was hiding a darker truth. Then, out of nowhere, another voice emerged from the fan base, one that defended Jake. This fan shared a different story, stating that Jake had been sober for the last 15 years, with no lapses or relapses. According to this source, Jake's commitment to sobriety was rock solid and had remained steadfast despite the turmoil and personal tragedies he had faced. This revelation threw cold water on the theories about Jake's supposed substance use, but the damage had already been done. The questions remained. Why had Jake not directly confronted the rumors himself? Why had he stayed silent while his image was being questioned? It was clear that the silence had caused a divide. Many fans stood by Jake, trusting his word, while others couldn't shake the feeling that something was being hidden. What Jake was going through behind the scenes remained a mystery. Was he truly dealing with his demons privately, or was there something more that he was too afraid to reveal? In the end, it wasn't just about the rumors or his appearance. It was about the person fans thought they knew and the person they were seeing now. Had the man who once embodied strength and resilience on Deadliest Catch become someone else entirely? And would he ever speak out, setting the record straight about what was really going on? The truth, as always, remained locked away. just like the sea, unpredictable and vast. Only time would tell if Jake Anderson would finally address the rumors head-on, or if the silence would continue to speak louder than any words ever could. The real story of Deadliest Catch. For more than 2 decades, Deadliest Catch has captivated viewers with its raw depiction of life on the high seas. Season after season, fans watched the captains and crews face dangerous conditions, massive storms, and harrowing losses. However, the real drama didn't always stay confined to the water. Behind the cameras, the cast and crew of Deadliest Catch faced struggles that went far beyond the challenges of fishing in the Bering Sea. One of the most talked about and controversial figures from the show was Captain Elliot Neese. His time on Deadliest Catch was marked by clashes, not only with his own crew, but also with his competitors. Bold and brash, Neese quickly gained a reputation for his fiery temper and unpredictable behavior. To some, he was a fan favorite. To others, a source of constant frustration. But in Season 11, Neese's abrupt disappearance from the show raised more questions than answers. Without warning, Captain Neese handed control of the FV Saga over to his first mate, Jeff Folk, and then disappeared from the series. Viewers were left in the dark, wondering what had happened to one of the most intense and outspoken figures in the Deadliest Catch franchise. The answer came months later when Neese publicly admitted to having checked into Passages Malibu, a rehab center known for treating substance abuse issues. In May of 2015, Neese tweeted that he had entered the program to deal with personal struggles. "I had issues," he said candidly, acknowledging the difficulties he was facing. After completing 60 days in treatment, Neese expressed that he had gained a new perspective on life. But recovery, as Neese would soon learn, is rarely a linear process. By 2017, he was back on social media, revealing to his followers that he had relapsed, but was now sober again, celebrating 90 days of sobriety. Yet, his posts became erratic and often strange, with photos of his pet rabbits and outdoor adventures. In one bizarre incident in 2019, Neese lashed out on Instagram, claiming that a Sportsman's Warehouse store had denied him the purchase of an AR-10 rifle that he said was on layaway. His emotional outbursts continued with a lengthy Facebook rant, which only added to his increasingly unpredictable public persona. Despite the turbulence, the door to a potential return to Deadliest Catch was never fully shut. Executive producer Decker Watson tweeted in 2017 that he made significant efforts to bring Neese back for Season 13. Unfortunately, those efforts didn't materialize, and Neese remained absent from the show. But the drama didn't end there. Neese's life was further marred by legal troubles, particularly with his ex-partner Valerie Gunderson, the mother of his children. In 2012, Gunderson filed for a restraining order against Neese, citing disturbing behavior. In her petition, she described a violent outburst in which Neese destroyed her television and burned her clothes in the fireplace. She expressed deep fear for her safety, describing how she feared Neese might snap at any moment. This disturbing pattern of volatile behavior, combined with his struggles with addiction, painted a picture of a man far removed from the respected captain fans once knew. Today, Neese largely stays out of the public eye. He occasionally appears online, but his future in Deadliest Catch remains uncertain. While fans may still hold out hope for his return, the truth is that Neese's personal battles have overshadowed the career he once built on the Bering Sea. Whether he will ever return to the show or regain the respect he once commanded is anyone's guess. However, the story of Captain Elliot Neese serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the toughest men, those who face the dangers of the sea every day, are not immune to their own internal struggles. Jake Anderson's background. Jake Anderson's story is one of resilience, hard work, and the love of the sea. Born in Anacortes, Washington, Jake grew up with a deep connection to fishing. His journey in the industry started at a young age when his uncle, Brian Mayvar, introduced him to the harsh but rewarding world of commercial fishing. The ocean became more than just a place for Jake. It became a calling. At just 17, Jake began fishing for salmon in the cold, challenging waters of Bristol Bay in Alaska. By 20, he had already gained more experience, working on a trailer processor. By the age of 25, Jake had fully immersed himself in the world of pot fishing. But it wasn't just fishing that Jake was passionate about. He was also a skilled skateboarder. His talent earned him sponsorship from DVS Shoes, and he even released a signature shoe with the brand. But no accomplishment in his life would compare to what came next. Jake's biggest achievement came when he joined the cast of Deadliest Catch. His participation on the show would bring him worldwide fame, introducing him to millions of viewers. Through his time on the show, Jake showed that a combination of perseverance, humility, and the willingness to learn can turn dreams into reality. Jake's personal life is just as fulfilling. He is married to his wife, Jenna, and together they have 3 children. They enjoy a quieter life in a beautiful neighborhood in Seattle, far removed from the chaos of the sea. But no matter where he is, Jake has always expressed a deep desire to be a good father. His chance to fulfill that role and to live a life he's proud of is something he holds dear. In 2014, Jake released his autobiography, which quickly became a bestseller. The book offered a look into his life, his struggles, and his journey to success. His story resonated with many, showing that anyone, no matter how tough life gets, can reach their goals if they stay committed and passionate. What do you think about Jake Anderson's journey? Do you believe the rumors about him returning to substances, or do you think he's been unfairly judged? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to stay updated with more content like this. And before you leave, be sure to check out the other videos on your screen. Thanks for watching.